The book is called Mi America, The Evolution of an American Family. And after I completed it, I knew we had a story there that could be turned into a documentary. My challenge was,
this is a journey of more than just history. It is a journey of discovery.
It is a story of loss and resilience.
The culture.
The people.
La música.
Greater LA Today, presented by the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival. Tickets available at ChicanoHollywood.com.
Now, Manuel, a very interesting aspect of your documentary overall is that you basically trace your family's genealogy back to the year 1603. That's everyone. I said 1603. Manuel, that is amazing. Like you said, through the help of the LDS Church's Family Research Center. Talk to me about what it was like in search of a director, because you're the executive producer, right?
Correct. Yeah, so I knew again that once I completed the book is called Mi America, The Evolution of an American Family. And after I completed it, I knew we had a story there that could be turned into a documentary. My challenge was, where do I go? And as I mentioned earlier, fortunately, we have this Roots Text conference that's held here in Salt Lake City. And there I was able to talk to several studio people and finally found one that appeared to be very interested. And this is an interesting concept because one of the things I thought about very carefully is, do I want a Latino director? That seemed to be the natural way to go. But my thinking at the time was, if I get someone like a non-Latino to help create this documentary, it would be a learning process for them. And I thinking is, as they learn, they will get more information and they will be also inspired, and because of the learning process. And that's exactly what happened. The studio that created this out of San Diego, Your Legacy, Your Studio, they created an interesting documentary. Obviously, I wrote the script. They followed it pretty well. And as I mentioned earlier, they were just very surprised. They kept confusing our history, which is goes back many years, but also with, they kept calling it Mexican history, which is also true, but they were not aware of the whole, the new settlements and our families that came here back in 1598, and that's where our journey began. So I was very pleased with the studio and what they did with it. Again, because I wrote the script and they followed it, I was very comfortable, and at the end, they were very pleased with it as well.
Manuel, one of the things you pointed out is going back to those early years of the early 1600s, there was a Spaniard named Juan Holguin, and he appointed an Aztec emperor referred to as Don Jose, to rule on the outskirts of Mexico City. And Don Jose had a daughter whose name was Maria, or she was referred to as Maria Catalina Villanueva. And this is actually your 10th removed grandmother. Talk to me about that, because that's a very fascinating story. You did the research that far back to basically affirm that your 10th removed grandmother was a daughter to an Aztec emperor. Talk to me about that.
Well, and that's why I like to call myself a 14th generation Chicano, because that's how far back it goes. And again, because of all the resources I was able to acquire, as I mentioned earlier, the LDS Church, etc., but also with DNA evidence and other things that I had access to. This Juan Holguin, he came in 1593 from Spain to Mexico. He was a settler and he met this, which would become an Aztec princess, Maria Catalina de Villanueva y Lopez, and soon after they married. And at this time, the Spanish government had appointed a viceroy, and the viceroy was in charge now of appointing the emperors to rule the outskirts of Mexico City. And so he appointed this Don Jose, whose daughter, Maria Catalina, would eventually marry Juan Holguin. And in 1599, they decided to travel to northern New Mexico. At this time, they were looking for people to settle the new colonies up, or to colonize New Spain in the northern province of New Mexico. And they had nothing going for them in Mexico, so they decided to pack up and head north to the Promised Land. And so they arrived in 1599. And again, this would become my 10th grandmother.
Manuel, now, when can people go and see Mi America, A Journey to Discovery, your documentary?
They can see this documentary at the Chicano Film Festival on August 1st at 3 p.m.
That's right, everyone. You heard it directly from Mr. Manuel Romero, executive producer of Mi America, A Journey of Discovery. Come on out to the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival. Come on out. It's going to be a great time, Manuel. You're going to have a blast at the film festival. And I'm looking forward to seeing your documentary if possible.
Again, Edgar, thank you. Muchas gracias for this opportunity. And the one thing I hope that people take out of this is inspiration.
Greater LA Today, presented by All We Have, now streaming on Tubi.